Commercial Construction Coffee Talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation magazine. Hope everybody's having a great week. It's been raining down here in Atlanta. We need the water, but it's been hot and humid in the hot ATL. I'll tell you, summer's here. All the pollen's gone, but the heat really nice at night. Nice temperatures, nice in the morning. During the day, I mean, right now there's not a cloud in the sky. It's been raining the last couple of days, pouring, but we need the water during the summer, so we'll take it. But man, it's been hot. And so if you're out there on a construction site or being a landscaper or anybody that's working outside, drink lots of water because you need to be hydrated if you're in the South. And the summer's here. Doesn't matter where you're at. You could be out in Phoenix in 118 degrees. I always said, I was talking to someone in Phoenix the other day, and they said, oh man, it's 118. I go, oh no, but it's a dry heat. He goes, David, it's still really, really hot. I go, I will take 118 of dry heat versus 92 with 98% humidity any day of the week. And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, hey, I'm telling you, you walk outside, you're drenched. I'll just take the dry heat and be in the shade. And if you're hitting golf balls, you got to play it early out west in Arizona. So those guys I know are frying out there. You definitely fry an egg on the sidewalk. But anyway, hope everyone's having a great week. Atlanta Hawks they're in the East Coast Finals playing Milwaukee tonight. So hopefully they'll start off and win. And the town's going crazy. So we beat the Sixers the other night in Game 7 in Philly, and one exciting game. And the town here in the ATL, listen, we always lose a lot of things in the championship. So the Hawks, I'm a Yankee living in the South, so I'm pulling for these guys. And it was tough because I'm from Philly and they were playing the Sixers. So I kind of was pulling for both teams. I didn't know who to go for. I mean, I was growing up with, Dr. J and, Moses Malone and all those guys. And anyway, it was tough, but hey, the Hawks won. Sixers had a great season, so it's tough to win the championship. But the young guns, let's give it to Milwaukee tonight and get the win. So, with that said, got a special guest from my home state of Pennsylvania, where I grew up in outside of Philly. We've got Mr. Brian Walker. He's the president of FloorMax USA, obviously in flooring. Brian, say hello to all of our guests out there in Commercial Construction Coffee Talk land.
Hello to everybody.
Welcome. The reason why I have Brian on is as most facilities, everything's between the roof and the floor, but the floor is your main basic area of transportation. And you got to deal with architectural, maintenance, slip and fall, all those different things that go into the flooring. And flooring can make or break what your facility is going to look like. So I thought that Brian would be a really good guest to have on, so he can talk about new things that he sees and trends and coming out of the pandemic. So Brian, the way that this works is we basically do it in 3 stages. You got to tell your story on where you grew up, where you went to school, if you played any sports, any of that good stuff, how you ended up in flooring, and then we'll talk about a little about your business, and then we'll close it out. So the floor is yours. Tell us your saga.
It's a nice pun to start out with.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Yeah. Well, thank you. Glad to be here with you, and just appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm from Central Pennsylvania. I was born, raised here. I even went to college to good old Penn State, go Nittany Lions. So I graduated with the business accounting degree. Yeah, I have 3 kids, have 7 grandkids. So I've entered in that different phase of life. It's a great thing. So,
oh, absolutely.
Got started in the industry, thinking that I was going to go into the accounting field and just be focused on that. And I had an opportunity to go with a general contractor in the area. And I was with them for about 15 years. Grew with a lot of experience, got exposed to a lot of different administrative aspects.
Was it commercial, residential, the contractor?
Commercial.
Commercial. Okay.
I've always been in the commercial line of things. Um, Left there, took a short stint with a CPA. I got exposed to a lot of different businesses and got to work with a lot of subcontractors. Um, I miss the construction industry. It's sort of one of those things that sort of gets in your blood and you miss it. So I decided to leave the CPA, and I spent some time with a company that was long established in the central Pennsylvania area, about 65 years of business as a family business. Learned a lot from that as well. And that's presented with a unique opportunity with some young entrepreneurs that had just started a flooring company. They needed some of the expertise of the administrative side of things. And that's how I got into the business with FloorMax. Um, the perspective of actually doing the hands-on work, it is very rewarding. Nothing against the general contractors who coordinate everything, but actually doing the actual work, knowing the products, being part of the process where you have a finished product is really rewarding. And the other neat thing about the flooring is it's at the end of most projects. You don't start out with the floor, you end with the floor. And so you sort of, you're, you're, you're aware of the
Yeah,
project.
you're the last thing in. I mean, it's just the reality of it. I just did my basement. It was the last thing that we did before we go, got to the punch list. That was the last thing that went in. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that could be a bad thing, which sometimes it is in business, because you're going to be the one that keeps getting pushed. If the schedule gets pushed, the flooring gets pushed. So that's a challenge sometimes. So,
getting back to Penn State, when I was growing up in Philadelphia, every Sunday morning I would watch the Penn State show with I guess his brother was on there. I forget anyway, but they would always do the highlights from the games and stuff. And so, I was go Big Blue, and Penn State was king. And when I was growing up, other than the Eagles, or if you're a Steelers on the West Side, so
right.
But so it brought back memories. So you were Penn State alum, so that's pretty cool. I was like, oh wow, I remember watching all that stuff when going way back when. So
yeah. Penn State's a neat area. It's right in between where we are, central Pennsylvania, and Harrisburg, which is where our main office is right in between the hubs of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, just north of the Baltimore area. So it's a great place that you can venture into those areas for your construction.
So, with FloorMax being, in flooring, the pandemic last March, we're looking at, maybe 18 months ago, something, whatever it might be. Last March, everything's kicking along. I always say Tom Hanks got the bug. Everything got shut down. March Madness, everything. No one knew it was going to happen. And then month after month after month, the media and all that. Yeah. Give me I don't even want to regurgitate it all. But the bottom line is, we're coming out of it. And talk about how you handled the pandemic, and because you're more on the administrative side of running your company. Talk about kind of the things that you had to deal with in maintaining your mental capacity per se, and as we moved into the reopening and getting things going again. What were some of the things that you that you had to go through and you learned?
Well, to start out, we were really excited about, we came off of 2019 as one of our best years with a great backlog going into 2020. And we were ramping up and we were ready to have our best first quarter, and then just the bottom fell out there in March. Everything came to a stop. We were contracted to do work. We do work through all 50 states. And we had installers that we had out in different parts of the United States that suddenly were shut down. They went to work the one day to do the installation. They were told, go home. We're just shutting down. So everybody had to migrate their way back through. So everything, just like a lot of businesses, just came to a total halt there for a good 4 weeks. And we were trying to figure out, how to keep things going. So we were very fortunate. We're a very diversified company from the standpoint of the different sectors that we service. We service health, retail, childhood education, senior living, and things like that. Obviously, the last ones I named were shut down and have been shut down for quite a while. Senior living, childcare, the stores and the retail. Um, those were shut down. However, some of the healthcare that we were working in needed to keep on going.
Oh,
Uh,
essential.
we and we also do both renovations and new construction. New construction took a halt, but then a number of the contractors were able to get their exceptions and so forth going. So we're able to keep rolling at a slow pace, let's say from late April and May into June. And then we started seeing the ball just start slowly rolling again. Um, One by one, some of the industries would start opening up to be ready to bring people back in, like restaurants and that kind of stuff. Some of those firms were struggling financially, so you had to be careful.
Hmm.
A lot of the companies would just arbitrarily say, we're changing our payment terms immediately to 60 or 90 days. Well, not many of the suppliers were willing to accept that I had to pass on to them 60 or 90-day payment terms. So you have to build with yourself good relationships with your financial institutions to help support you. Um, we we had a lot of personnel that were willing to sort of back off to part-time to help the company through, and we came through even stronger when we came out of this. We were back up to full staffing pretty much in June. Some people were still working from home, and now pretty much we're back. Everybody's back at the office working. Um, Momentum started picking up in the fall. And again, as I said, some of the industries started picking up one by one. The convenience stores were one of the next ones to come in line. Some of the retailers, some of the big ones that we work with, they're publicly traded. Some of them were having booming years. And they had to make accommodations for the drive-ups, deliveries of people just
Hmm.
coming and picking up their products. So it sort of opened up a little different avenue for us. Um, and then pretty much as the end of the year came, we found a lot of corporations saying we're ready to move ahead after the first of the year and start back. And so this first quarter, we've had the best first quarter that we've ever had.
Oh, congratulations.
So we're real happy with that. Great backlog. Now it's a pent-up demand, and as everyone else is experiencing, higher costs, lower availability of products, higher shipping costs, the availability of personnel is rather challenging.
Hmm.
So, but I think that's a common theme for everyone. We're not the only ones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, you know, some people that went through the pandemic, they had their people work out of the house, and now they have some of them have gone back, some of them they've left. The biggest challenge I think that a lot of the people that I spoke with or had guests on the podcast, uh, they were worried about keeping their corporate culture, and would their people working out of the house be less or more productive. That was the scariest thing. And because some people just can't work out of a house. Like I had an office, but I've been working out of my house forever. So it didn't bother me. But some people need that interaction. Other people became more productive, where meetings that would normally take an hour and a half were 20 minutes or on Zoom or whatever, because there was no more gossip at the water cooler per se, or that kind of stuff. Not that that's bad, but they were amazed at how efficient that their people were. Plus, they weren't burning gas, stuck in rush hour traffic every morning. That drive and grind during the week, and so it's been, people with a lot of the companies opening back up. It's been interesting to see. They've kind of become hybrids. Some people are all the way back. Some people are letting their people stay. Some are half and half. Maybe they go in once a week. It's been interesting to see how everything has gone. Um, Talk about how you used technology, through your, you know, navigation through the pandemic. Did you do a lot of Zoom or, you
We
know,
did, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whether it be Zoom or Teams, we were able to collaborate in that manner, um, and it helped. Obviously, everybody gets set up with their laptops at home.
mm,
Uh, I wouldn't say that we missed the productivity side of things. It just made things harder because we're so used to having certain collaboration with discussions. And sometimes it's just that casual passing by somebody's office and you remember something and you stop in, you mention it. No, by the way, I just heard from somebody else. So that's where we were finding the technology wasn't really hitting us or fulfilling us in the best manner. You can't be on Zoom all the time.
Oh, no.
So, you got to think, okay, now I got to ring them just like I'm picking up the telephone to give them a call for something very casual. So you just say, well, I'll just try and remember it for next time. So I think that was the biggest thing, and culturally that we were missing. I think everybody in the office missed that, and we're anxious to get back.
I'll tell you, we viewed the technology thing. The pendulum swung way over to the one side. Now it's kind of come back. Some of the shows are coming back. It'll be interesting to see. I think people are going to maintain the technology aspect, but listen, we're social animals. I mean, you got to have that social interaction, whether it's at your office or at a show or on the road. And it's good to see that people are getting back on planes. It's good for the hospitality industry, travel, and so that's all positive. But I still think that one of my I've said this before. I'm sorry, commercial construction coffee talk fans out there, but one of my guest said, one day he was in Saudi Arabia, England, Africa, Central America, up in Canada, and then ended up in the USA with a couple of site visits all in one day. Pre-COVID, you would never be able to do that. During COVID, even technology, he did that in one day, and didn't even have to leave his office. So it's been an interesting kind of gig of how technology was there, but now it was kind of thrust upon us if you wanted to survive. And now it's kind of come mainstream, and now we'll kind of see how many people are going to use it. And just like us, we were going to do one podcast a month. Now we were doing them weekly. Now I think I do them every 10 days or so. So it's been an interesting. I know I learned a lot about my business just in general. I mean, I was a print face-to-face guys. You guys were at my summit in January 2020 in Jacksonville before everything shut down. So we kind of went through the same thing. I was gearing up. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be the best year ever. And then every city, I was in Miami, the cranes are up, things are going crazy. We did our first CCRP, and then all of a sudden, boom, and everything was shut down. So, and everybody was in the same boat. It was different, but and it was also different than 2008, because when that happened, the crash happened, but people were still flying, and here it was just shut down, and that was the biggest difference that I think that, and a lot of people being stuck home with the kids and the dogs and this and that. I mean, just the world, it was like the Twilight Zone,
Yeah. Never in my career did I ever see business stop. And it just felt like everything came to a stop there for those several weeks, just a total stop. And you're trying to figure out how you're going to make things, make ends meet. Yeah.
So let's talk about your, your product line. Do you have any new products that you have coming out that you're, promoting as we come out, through the reopening of the country?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, we focus on the installation services of flooring. And what we're seeing an awful lot has been happening over the last several years is the definite incline of use of LVT over other flooring surfaces. Hardwood has certainly gone down in its utilization. The durability of an LVT certainly surpasses that. It also is coming in at a good price point where retailers who would like to have a fresh image every few years, it's much more achievable from a cost standpoint. The bacterial surface is much easier to clean and maintain. We work a lot with childcare, and it's an excellent surface to be installing for the cleanliness services. Whenever we were going through the whole pandemic, we were finding that became one of the focus points. We wanted to make sure that we've got so many questions about how to clean surfaces that we would pair up with manufacturers who would supply the cleaning that was necessary to meet as much as what we knew that COVID was, how to fight it and how to keep things clean. Um, yeah, as for new products, it's a continually evolving industry. Flooring, when I first went into it, I never really thought there was an exciting kind of industry that evolves. Like I said, carpet is carpet, but
Yeah.
so many different types. Um, and you want to go after certain aesthetics. It certainly provides a lot of opportunities along those lines. We paired up with a number of different suppliers. Each one has their own unique strengths. And so we try to pair that up with whenever we meet with a client who has certain needs, to present them with different options and go with the best value.
Yeah, you know what the good thing about is, if you're dealing with a hotel, they're going to have hard surfaces, they're going to have soft surfaces. If they are retailers, the same thing. They might have a lot of soft surface, but they might have a hard surface. Grocery store, you think of them as, basically just a big box with one type of floor, but now they're getting into these vendor shops, and so it's a very diverse area that when you get a project, you're not just going to be dealing with, let's say, carpet. You're going to deal with all sorts of stuff that you're going to install. And as an installer, you can actually recommend, hey, I wouldn't put that there. I think you should go
Mhm.
this way, because down the road you're going to have maintenance issues or other issues that are going to come up that you're not thinking about, even though you might
Right,
what it looks like, that you actually can act as a consultant to your end user brand or your client, or actually even to the contractor who's just trying to make his profit margin by saying, hey, I'm going to use this, unless it's
right,
spec. So
right.
correct.
That's exactly right. And when you talk about, let's use retailers for example, they want to have a different feel in a certain area, maybe for the kids section or for the electronics area. You want to have a certain color scheme if you're going to have a certain vendor in that area. Uh, Flooring is an easy way to achieve that, either through a soft surface or a hard surface. We've done some high retail and retail where tile is high-end tile or marble is appropriate to give that feel. But
Mhm.
flooring can change the whole feel of the environment that you're in.
Yeah, I always tell people that, look, you can have the, nice paint, but the floor, I mean, that's what people are walking into. They're on top of it. They're feeling it. It can change the whole facility by a
Mhm.
different feel, color, aesthetic. It's it's a crucial integral part of any facility.
It
And
very much is. Very
oh
much
yeah.
is. I mean, your lighting has a big appeal, and the type of floor can also either reflect or give you a warm feeling, just like the paint colors. But it's
Mhm.
a very integral piece of that puzzle.
Do you see any new installation kind of techniques that have come up that you've seen, or is it just kind of, it you gotta have nice knee pads and that kind of stuff, and or
Right, right. Some of the installation is changing slightly. What we're finding is as retail, well, I keep going back to retailers, but clients want to replace their floor. Flooring, there are certain types of adhesives have changed over the years to make it easier just to go through, clean it up, demo the floor up, and then. But you do have to be careful. Also, there's more testing involved, the moisture testing.
hmm
Um, so you have to make sure that you have the right adhesive that adheres to the surface that it's being applied to. So there are certain aspects that have changed. I'd say pretty much all for the better.
excellent, excellent. So, um, as we kind of finish up here, uh, if you were going to leave one positive thought or phrase with our commercial construction coffee talk listeners out there, what would it be as we come out of the pandemic?
For us, I'll state what our culture really revolves around relationships. And those relationships are built on trust. And to get that trust, you have to have good integrity. So one of the things that we really emphasize at FloorMax is to have integrity on what you do so that you can build that trust and keep and build further lasting relationships.
I'm right there with you. Trust is trust, loyalty, and getting the job done. I always tell people, like, as an advertiser, I'm like, look, just give me a shot and I'll prove my worth and then some, and I won't
Yeah,
let you down. And
right.
all I ask is for a chance. So uh, that you're right on the money as far as I'm concerned. I'm right there.
Well, that's what we build everything on, and it seems to be what everybody is really looking for. There's so much diversity right now, and this divisiveness. You need to have that trust level. So,
Absolutely. I agree 100%, 150%, to be
yeah.
honest. If someone wanted to get in touch with FloorMax and they wanted to talk about installation or flooring in general, how would they get in touch with you or your team?
Visit our website is one of the best sellers for ourselves at floormaxusa.com. We've got a lot of information. You see a lot more about the company. There's various contact information there as well. And I'm always open to a phone call. So contact information is really most best on the website there.
I like phone calls. I've gone through the whole thing. I've hundreds of emails every day, Zoom calls, and but now sometimes I'll see an email that come in and I'll just pick up the phone, and then people are like, oh wow, I'm actually talking to someone on the phone. Your
Mhm.
phone, this is your best little toy right here. That can people want to talk to you if they can't see you, even though it's on Zoom. Have a nice phone call. It's just, I know it's old school, but it actually is one of the best things that you can do. The other thing is, I still believe in snail mail. A nice little handwritten note. They get something in the mail, they got to open it. It's personal. I just think, you know, that stuff
That's
still
true.
works. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
yeah,
shows effort on your part to do something a little different.
yeah, I pick up the phone. I mean, it's so funny because you can type an email, you can read it 1,000 different ways. And instead of going back and forth, just pick up the phone and call. That's what it's there for. And I'm sure all you guys have cell phones and the best plans ever. You got plenty of data. Pick up the phone. Don't get off the email. Just pick up the phone. Say
That's
hello.
right.
And
Yep.
you don't have to do Zoom call. Pick up the phone. It's there. It's there for you. So um,
Absolutely.
for all of you out there, if you want to reach me, you can get me at David C at ccr-mag.com. If you're not a subscriber, up on my toolbar, there's a subscribe button on the homepage. We'd love you to be it. We sent out 125,000 issues. This is my last one with Floor and Decor on the cover. I've got my May one coming off the printer here that had Christian Brothers. I've got a hotel chain called Citizen M, I think it's called. That's coming up on my June cover that we're closing. And they're in international in all the big cities and beautiful, beautiful properties. So if you've got any projects, it's kind of like playing the lottery. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. So if you don't know, if you have a really cool project, you want us to take a look at it, we'll find a spot for it. Whether it's in the magazine or on social media, our website, Facebook, Twitter, we've got them all. But if you don't send us something, I can't find it. So if you have something very cool and you think it's worthy, or a new product or a personal, listen, I post every night. And so we got it. But like I said, if you don't send it, I can't look at it. You don't buy a ticket, you can't win. So that's my analogy there. Um, but we've got a lot of exciting things. We're moving into the second half of the year. I've got 6 more issues left. And, we're also bringing back our cocktail parties coming up here. Starting in July, I'm doing Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Miami, and finishing up the year in Phoenix. So hopefully we can see you guys and you can fist bump. I shake hands. You can do that too. And we're gonna get some pictures, put in the magazine, and show people that we're actually getting back to normalcy, which is a terrific thing. And we're all gonna stay busy as well. So with that said, Brian, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us talking flooring installation and all that good stuff in Harrisburg, PA.
Well,
And
thank you, David. Appreciated the time.
yeah, and I hope to meet you in person here one of these days. As I got to go up to. Normally, I do one trip up to Philly and go see my buds in Philly, my family, and maybe make a trip down to Atlantic City and see my buds. And you never
Please
know.
stop by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'd love to see the facility. And
Great.
I mean, my family's in construction, so I've always been in it. So it's in my blood. But I always like looking at different ways of people, how they have things set up, and You know, I learned the day I stopped learning is the day I, should go do something else. So
Yeah.
whenever I can go see something, and I haven't been traveling. I was a million miler. Now I haven't been on a plane in a while. It's time for me to get back. My wife told me because it was so much nicer when you were on the road
Yeah.
a couple days, and I'm like, thanks. Thanks a lot. Just had my 25-year reunion or anniversary, and she's like, you need to go back on the road. Get on back on the plane. So, but we really appreciate you spending some time with us. And for all you out there in commercial construction coffee talk land, have a great summer. Stay cool, stay hydrated. If you want to see these episodes, they're up on our website, but we also feature them on Google, Apple, and Spotify if you want to find us on the podcast platform. So with that said, Brian, say goodbye from Harrisburg.
All right. Good talking with you.
And I'm going to say goodbye from Suwanee, Georgia, right below the Lake Lanier Dam, just north, about 20 miles or so from downtown Atlanta. Everybody stay cool out there. Have a great summer. And we will see you all next time on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Brian, thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right. We'll see you later.